Paul Gast isn't slowing down. Astoundingly, at age 70, this motorcycle drag racing legend is on top of his game. He's forgotten more about the sport than most will ever know. Come with us in this video. We're going to learn some secrets as to what makes Paul so successful.
So that's just a typical run of what we look at when we come back. We monitor all these different things, all these values. Try and turn that into a one sheet on everything I do, on the numbers of what I did, all my exhaust temperatures, my air fuel readings, engine RPM at the finish line, vacuum, all the brake, the incremental times. So all this is what. Wait a minute, why did I go so fast on Q2? I go back and look, and then you have this data, and I have that data from every run I've ever made.
Ooh, that must be a thick stack back home.
Like this year and maybe some of last year.
Wow.
But I got some piles that tall.
Can you imagine how big some of those piles are? This man has been successfully motorcycle drag racing for decades. Just recently on this Timblin Chassis, fast By Gast Suzuki GS Pro Mod machine, Paul reset the Pro Mod record to an unbelievable 394 at the PDRA event. 1 week before, he was at the Man Cup race in brutal, sweltering heat, running 3-second passes with no problem. Let's watch this final round run. This is Paul Gast up against the talented Mike Shongris. Shongris out of Ohio, Paul Gast out of Buffalo, New York. Paul Gast, who comes from a pro stock motorcycle racing background, transitioned over into the Nitrous Pro Mod category about a decade ago and has not looked back. It's truly staggering at 70 years old that Paul is on top of his game and one of the top motorcycle drag racers in the world. Oh, great light as always by Paul. Win light coming on, Paul. Let's go talk to his talented right-hand man, Butch Schwartz.
Another win for the veteran. Well, everything I was saying before was just a bunch of junk. We've been tuning on this for a while, and unbelievably in this weather, it's running this well. So we're just going to be happy and take it. Congratulations.
That was a 4 flat at 175 miles an hour, by the way, for Paul in the final. How did he do that in the brutal South Carolina heat? And how is this racer so dominant and successful at age 70?
Look who's in the winner's circle, running the table, 70-year-old Paul Gast, the legend. He's got his whole crew here. Paul, what a weekend. Congratulations. Take me through it.
Well, I'll tell you, this fast By Gast Suzuki is fast as all hell right here. A lot of credit goes to the boys at Fast By Gast, including these guys right here. Butch he sets this thing up. It's perfect. Every single pass I go down the track, and I can count on that. Here's my #1 supporter, Kelvin Blandon. What a guy. He's got a beautiful bike himself, and he'll be down at the next race rocking it at the Rock. And this Fast By Gast bike right here is just something else. I just get to go for a ride on it and pay the bills.
How were you able to squeeze the 3 out in this heat? It's so hot.
I think that's almost the run of my life. Almost. I mean, how could you do? I mean, the track was just that good here. I just can't get over that. When that 399 came up, I was really impressed. The incremental numbers were off the charts, and I mean, that's stuff you might run when it's 55 degrees, not 97. Amazing. But anyways, it was all good stuff. We're really proud of it. The bike's in one piece for the next one.
Thank you for your hard work. Good weekend for you?
Yes, very good weekend.
How about the Bushman?
Excellent.
As you said to me one time, pretty good for an old guy, right? Congratulations.
Pretty good indeed, and if you know anybody out there that thinks they're too old, share this video with them. Paul is our version of John Force. Let's go inside Paul's motor coach now and watch some of his videos that he carefully reviews. Paul talks about how he can tune by ear. When you've been doing it this long, it's possible. That's some cool footage that we're reviewing here, Paul. Paul, you're such a veteran. You're telling me you're always tuning with your ear. What'd you hear on that pass?
Well, that was a 398 #1 qualifier at the PDRA Maryland race this year, and that was a badass pass. That's why I got it on here, and why I'm showing it to you. But it's everything I heard there is the motor was tracking all the way. There was no pull downs. There was no over revs. When it pulls down, it needs more power generally, well, always. And if it revs up too quickly, I can hear all that. When it revs up too quickly, it's either the clutch is slipping or the tire's slipping. So we have monitors for all those things. Then you would go back and you would look at your data and adjust accordingly. Usually by the time you make 3 hits, you should be getting everything out of the bike you can, especially if it's a bike you've had for a while.
Is there part of you that thinks you've been doing this so long, you don't even need the computer to go the right way with tuning calls?
No, the computer refines. I can run pretty good without it, but you save a lot of engine parts by having it. You really do. So I think the computers, I love the computers. But when I'm done talking to you, I'm going to have a coffee and a cookie and go back out there and look at my computer graphs. That's what I do. And then you just trim the Firestorm ignition controller. You just trim that. Just sometimes just one dot you might move a little bit, just a quarter of a degree or a half a horsepower here and there, just enough to make that slight change. Then you come back and you look at your time card or the video and see if it made an improvement. You always want to get better. I mean, you don't want to slow down. So when I started out here this weekend, I ran 409 twice, and I knew that there was plenty left in the thing, but we had to clean up a couple things. It's made 3 or 4 different adjustments that all clicked.
Well, you're an expert at analyzing data. The final thing is you spent all those years in Pro Stock, naturally aspirated. When you switched over to the Nitrous combination, did you have to relearn anything? Was there anything that threw you for a loop, or did all that knowledge transfer over?
Well, a lot of that knowledge transferred over, and I think that's why I do pretty good out here. But the if you have a motor that starts out with more power, and now you add 200 horsepower of nitrous to it, I mean, you know, it's like putting nitrous on a Corvette. It's better than putting it on a Volkswagen. So you always want to have the most power you can start with. And I do a lot of dyno tuning at my shop on my stuff, and try to get everything out of it I can. So a lot of the little tricks that I learned in Pro Stock, because you didn't have any adders, you had to make it on your own, they have transferred over into this kind of racing for sure.
I love it. So at 70, we're going to see you for at least another decade, right, out here? You're going to have to race till you're 80 now. You're looking too young, and you're winning too many races.
I don't know that my wife's ready for another 10 of me doing this, but for sure some years. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have no desire or want to quit anything right now. If I was a slouch out here and, you know, looking sloppy and like I should retire, if I heard people saying that kind of stuff, I probably would. I'm not hearing it just yet. So,
what do you think about John Force winning the U.S. Nationals, getting up there in age? Showing that...
Well, I'm going to tell you a tidbit right now.
Okay.
You just mentioned John Force getting up there in age. Me and John Force were born on the exact same day.
Wow.
Not same day, kind of. The same day. He was born on the same day I was born. Don't know the hours. I didn't have any desire to go that far, but we were born on the same day. He's exactly my age.
There was something about that day that spawned some successful drag racing careers, huh?
And when I won my only NHRA Pro Stock national event, 1990, John Force was in the winner's circle with me. And he wasn't winning a real lot back then. He was just starting to win in 90. And I just thought that was I've got that picture that I kind of cherish because, you know, he's about as badass as it gets out there, in my opinion. But we're the same exact age.
That's a great trip down memory lane. At your age, what is left to accomplish? Any desire to go back out to the NHRA and get it done?
Well, every once in a while, every once in a while. I've even told you this earlier in this year that, you know, I just feel like I could probably do okay. They're not running away with the thing, and I'm very pleased to see Steve Johnson doing so well right now.
How about that? That's what made me think.
I don't know anything about the race today, so don't even tell me.
Sure.
But to see his new performance find, I'm quite impressed and very pleased.
You think maybe we could see Paul hit up a select race or two, maybe a U.S. Nationals, maybe a Gator Nationals?
Not completely out of the question, but not real likely either. I'm not interested in the time I used to spend. I spent a lot of time on this Pro Mod stuff. Pro Stock was quadruple or times 5. I never worked so hard in my life to try and find a 100th or to lose 1 horsepower. Dyno for 2 weeks to lose a horsepower, meaning you just didn't always find it every time. Sometimes you did. And anytime you find it, you normally aspirate, you always went faster. Yeah.
A lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. I just can't see that. The probability isn't real high, but it could.
Well, we'd love to see you. Even one race. Maybe even a rent-a-ride. How about a rent-a-ride? Yeah. Fast bike. Jerry Savoy calls. He's got Karen Stover on his other bike. Paul, we need you. Who knows?
You never know. Yeah, it'd be fun for being a Suzuki for me because I feel like I got a feel for him. You know, never been on a damn V-twin, so you never know.
We'll try to make it happen. I like it.
Right.
Thanks, Paul.
Cool, man.
Somebody put this legend on a bike, offer him a ride. Hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane with Paul Gast. We'll have much, much more coming from Paul and other motorcycle drag racing greats. All you got to do, subscribe to Cycle Drag on YouTube, like CycleDrag.com on Facebook. We've got more coming for you.